Hi, welcome to week two. I hope week one was less stressful than you had thought. As we progress into this course, um, I'm sure you're all wondering, why are we doing this? And so there's multiple reasons why we want to create an e-portfolio. The first, as an early childhood professional or any professional that works with children and families, we want to be able to not only document what we do, but we also need to know how to speak to the profession and why we do something. So, uh, the benefits of using or the benefits of having the National Association for Education of Young Children, or NACCE standards, in early childhood programs at Glendale Community College uh, helps us get a deeper dive into national standards. It helps us acknowledge the variation, and when I say variation, they cover code of ethics, and there's four areas in the code of ethics, technically five. Um, as far as being a community member, a colleague, an employee, uh, you know, it, how to work with families, how to work with children. And so it is important to understand your place as a teacher and who you should be collaborating and benefiting. It also helps us gauge not only the education that we provide for children, but it helps us gauge the education that we are providing for our students, who therefore help our children and families within our community. So NACCE has such an outreach to a variety of people. They do advocacy. They help early childhood centers. Like a center can become NACCE accredited. A college or a higher learning institution can be NACCE accredited, and those help us increase our standards. They help us learn to crosswalk, meaning what are our state standards, what are NACCE standards, and how can we meet both of those. And it also helps us just have a better understanding of best practice, what is tried and true, and what is done in one state should look very similar to what another state does, depending on that crosswalk. But if you're following NACCE standards, no matter what state you go to, it should be the same. And so there is that universal um, methods and teaching practices that are always there. So in your e-portfolio, you should have some artifacts. And an artifact is just anything stating that you have done it. An artifact is an article or a piece of proof, right? And so we're just going to practice together. So I'm going to pretend that I went to a Arizona Early Childhood Career and Professional Development Network, and the name of that was Updating the Arizona Workforce Registry. So they didn't give me a certificate, but I did get a copy of the PowerPoint. So what I did is I just snipped or took a picture of that front of the PowerPoint, and that's my artifact. If I had the whole PowerPoint, you can embed the whole PowerPoint into your portfolio. And then what you're going to do is you're going to speak to that artifact. You are going to state the standard that it meets. You are going to name the artifact, and then you are going to provide a description, just a one paragraph explanation of what the artifact is. You're going to provide the rationale, which is one paragraph explanation of what you did and why the artifact fits. And be sure to use vocabulary that is reflective of NACCE. Reflection is 1 to 2 paragraphs that reflects your own completion of the activity and what you learned from it. If it is something that you completed in class, predict how you think it will work in the classroom setting, or what you learned about the concept or profession by completing it. If it's something that you completed with students in an internship, describe what you think went well and what you think you could do differently next time. For each standard, you're going to find an artifact. You're going to reflect on what you chose the artifact for and complete the artifact reflection. Submit the reflection in Canvas, and the instructor, who is me, will give you feedback. You add the artifact to your portfolio and paste the revised reflection in your e-portfolio. I will go over the Jamboard with ideas here in a moment. But for an example, for standard 1, 2, and 3, so you can add a case study, you can do a newsletter, pictures of community field trips, a video of observation group activities, assessments on children, documentation of child's work. You can, for NAEYC standard 2 and 3, you can add captions to a picture, assessments, developmental checklists, ASQs, project approach, internship pictures. And so what that's going to look like is if you go to the second tab on your e-portfolio, you'll see standard 1, and that's knowing and understanding it's knowing and understanding children's characteristics and needs, birth to age 8, knowing and understanding multiple influences on early development and learning, and using developmental knowledge and to create a healthy, respectful, supportive, and challenging learning environment. Standard 2 is knowing and understanding diverse family and community characteristics, supporting and engaging families and communities through respectful, reciprocal relationships, involving families and communities in young children's development and learning. 3, understanding the goals, benefits, and uses of assessment, including any use of developmental appropriate goals, curriculum, and teaching strategies of young children. Knowing about and using observation, documentation, and appropriate assessment tools and approaches, including the use of technology, documentation, assessment, and data collection. Understanding and practicing responsible assessment and promoting positive outcomes for each child, and including the use of assistive technology for children with disabilities. Knowing about assessment partnerships with families and professional colleagues to help build effective learning environments. So each time that you do this, there will be a peer review session, which is your discussion boards. This will provide you an opportunity to do that peer reflection or that peer review, see what others are posting. It'll also give me an opportunity to go in there and see how the discussion boards are going. There is a key assessment, which is your professional statement, and there will be a video on that. So let's just go back to that Jamboard. So standard 1, a lot of our students indicated that teaching strategies gold, creative curriculum, developmental milestone checklist, a portfolio, ASQ, infant toddler guidelines, Arizona early standards would all be a great artifact. So it is your responsibility, if you choose to use one of these items or any item, to be able to justify it to the standard 1 through your reflection and your description. So that would be standard 1. For standard 2, students thought a program newsletter, parent handbook guidelines, parent committees, community events, health screenings, parent volunteer activities, school events, parenting trainings, parent-teacher conferences, and homeschool connections. For standard 3, they thought a case study, any assignments in EED280, pictures or videos, teaching strategies gold, observing and documenting specific children, IEP meetings and documentation, portfolio, and child artifacts of work. All of those would be great images to place into your ePortfolio with a description next to it. I will be creating a video on how to embed items into your ePortfolio, and I will send that out in an announcement. Thank you and have a great week.